Some people get into power and they think they should be in power forever. I do 4 years, 5 years, normally where I go and try and change things, and you move. We did it at Kotoko. By the time we left, the balance sheet had an operating profit year in, year out by the time we had finished. So by the time we were dismissed, removed, Kotoko was in a healthy state. We had culled in young boys. We had got a system with the schools. We had Middendorp had trained people like Parkwesi Fabian and the rest. We had schools which there was a Kotoko style that was endemic and part of Asanteman. And therefore we had a younger group of players who were coming, the Patrick Dodus and Osei Kwames and all of them were part of an academy side that we had started putting into the Kotoko team at the age of 16, 17 years old, to understand that football is not about who dribbles the best, who has the biggest mouth. Systems, patterns, plans, working for one another in a coordinated fashion, starting from when you're young to your pre-season training, coordinating it, making sure that you set the limits higher and higher and higher so that they become exceptional interplays within themselves. And we did that with football. We started doing that with rugby. Rugby is a little bit different because the issue of how we raise money, how we manage it, becomes a key. And World Rugby, Africa Rugby representatives have made it very clear that part of our vision and our plans, they themselves did not think was possible when we started off. We've proved it to be possible. So we're going into an elective Congress. We're not due that, but I've suggested that, and it'll happen, where hopefully we'll have different people put their hands up and say, we want to be president of Ghana Rugby. I know that Cape Coast had their elective and they chose their group of people about 3-4 months ago. And as you know, we all changed our constitution in approval with the NSA. More importantly, with World Rugby, it was a World Rugby suggestion. They believe we've got the best setup in Africa. It's based on the New Zealand structures. And it will be represented here by members of Africa Rugby, possibly even World Rugby, I'm not sure. Will be here for that elective late in January or early in February. And I'm hoping that people who come, we have a vetting system which is a lot better than football. Sorry, we look at what happens in the GFA and we laugh. Part of it is serious, a lot of it is comedies. Okay? You really must be able to put together a CV that didn't say you went to a school or a university, but that says, we understand that sports is big business. We understand that rugby this year, unlike at any point in time, has had teams that play in the under-20s. What are the financial implications of that? They're playing in the ladies' sevens. What are the financial implications? The men's sevens, the Nations Cup, the Tri-Nations. So as a team sport, we play more competitions now in Ghana than any other team sport. Each of them have huge financial implications. You remember when I went to Kotoko, it was a big argument. I started saying anybody who was going to join the board should bring 50,000. People say, why should they bring 50,000? It was a big hoo-ha. People don't think far. I'm not saying I think further than other people, but clearly there was a need to people understand that if you sit on the board, it's not because you're a big man, but because you understand that in order to guide the institution, one of the things that we needed to do was to be able to raise money and understand our marriage between the corporate world and ourselves, our individual contributions as board members to make it work. And if they can understand that, and I'm not sure all my current board members in Ghana Rugby understand that, but by having an early elective, somebody's got to be able to raise their hand and say, yes, we need to raise X hundreds of thousands, millions of CDs every year for this program to be sustainable and to move. And there's enough time being given. It's being spread around. Public notices will be made. And it'll then give somebody somewhere the chance to say, I want that job. I want that job. I can do that job. And if they pass the vetting, that's a key issue here. If they pass the vetting, and it's not a complicated business, it's not we don't like you, we like you. It's, do you understand what governance is all about? Do you understand and share the view in terms of continuity? Are you prepared to support the development of the children's game through getting into rugby, the women's game in terms of where we're going? Because for 2020, we would like to see before the end of 2020 a 15-a-side women's team. Right now, a group of people are setting up a northern franchise. So we have St. West, we have Greater Accra, we have the North sector in the next 30 days will have set up as an entity. And we're trying to encourage those in the Volta region also to set up. So by 2021, there'll be 5 different setups, structures, who will have the voting rights, the capacity, we have the inclusiveness of all players from all sides to be part of a bigger program. Whoever's going to lead, it's not about having the money, it's about having the way to understand how you can raise the money. Whether you understand the policies, the ethics, the code of ethics, and what is required from World Rugby to ensure that Ghana, which is viewed as one of the best run rugby nations in Africa,